Greetings. Welcome to Shift Keys.
Tiny tweaks, big wins.
I'm M.K. Mueller, the author of 8 to Great.
And I'm Cindy Stauffer, an author and clinical psychologist.
Hey ho, and we are here today, so glad you've joined us, to talk about the tiny tweak that brings the biggest win. We wanted to start with this one because it's changed both of our lives, and we've watched it change, tens of thousands of others, and we just love sharing this information. So let's get going. But before we do, a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by the 8 to Great Life Coach Certification Program. In just 5 weeks, you'll have the skills to coach one-on-one or speak to groups of all sizes in person or online. Then, after those 5 weeks, you'll have a full team of master trainers there to support you in living, teaching, leading, parenting, or coaching the step-by-step process of the 8 highways. Take it from me. After 30 plus years in the counseling world, 8 to Great is a game changer and will open your eyes to skills and success that make life more fun and more fulfilling. For more information, contact us at training@8togreat.com or reply in the comments below this video. Mention this Shift Keys podcast and you'll receive $100 off the already low investment for this life-changing course.
Woohoo! Thanks, Cindy. Light. Okay, well, to get started with our topic today, again, the tiny tweak that brings the biggest win, I wanted to start with a story about a principal. He was having a big challenge with a very rebellious young man who happened to end up in his office every week with something new that he had acted out. And every week, the young man, I think a junior in high school, would come in and he'd say, "What'd you do now?" And the student would tell him, and he'd say, "Why'd you do that? Stop doing it." Okay. And "I don't want to see you again." Student would leave, be back again the next week. So this went on. And one day the superintendent pulled this principal aside and said, "I would really like you to go to a training. It just takes 2 days to get trained in 8 to Great, and I really think it would help with some things." And he wasn't all excited about it, but he said, okay. So he was off at the training, and the young man acted out again, and this time was sent to the superintendent's office since the principal was gone. And the superintendent sat him down and he said, "So what happened was," and he goes, "I don't want to know what happened." And he said, "You don't?" And he said, "Nope." And he went to the board and he drew some things. And when he was finished, he said, "Any questions?" And the young man said, "No." And as the young man was leaving, he turned back and said, "Most important thing I've ever learned in high school." When he walked out of that office, he was never called in for being in trouble again, and ran for student council and got it his senior year. So, question, what was the thing that this superintendent told the young man that shifted him? The principal wanted to know. You want to know too?
That's what I was wondering.
He had just been to the training, and the superintendent said, "Did you learn about the power pyramid?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." And he said, "That's all I taught him in 5 minutes." It's a concept I came up with when I had just gotten out of the shelter for domestic violence at the age of 34, and where they taught me that the person I needed to change wasn't him, it was me. And I said, "What?" And they taught me how I was giving my power away to him and how I needed to get my power to feel good and ask for what I want and really be in charge of my life. I had to take that back. So I started to use this myself and eventually started teaching it to others. So this little pyramid was actually given to me by a young man in recovery from alcohol abuse. years ago. He appreciated the concept so much, and he saw this at a Goodwill and he bought it for me. So here we go. So the power pyramid is based on a couple things. The first is we wake up at 100% powerful, 100% joyful, 100% energized. I kind of call it dolphin energy because we live in Florida. You could think of it as puppy dog energy or 3-year-old energy, right? Yeah, take on the world. So that's where we wake up. Even if you think, oh, no, no, not me. Well, what's happening is shortly after you wake up, you can choose to do this thing that gives your power away. And if you keep doing that over and over, pretty soon, instead of being at 100% powerful, you'll be down here at what we call 5. And when you're fiving, it basically means you're only 5% powerful, 5% joyful. And what are you going to attract in life? What goes around comes around. So what you're going to attract are other experiences and other people who are also fiving experiences. So of course you want to get your power back. And we say the goal for the day is not to be perfect, but to be 95ing. So how do you do that? It's a 5-word phrase. Choose thoughts that feel good. That's it. Not choose good thoughts. There's no such thing. One thought might feel good to someone who, doesn't feel good to someone else. My pastor used to love climbing ice mountains, but his mother hated the fact that her 57-year-old was climbing mountains that melted and were slippery, right? But it was his happy place. So again, no one can tell you what thought feels good or at least a little better to you, right? What thought feels even a little better. So when you wake up again, if you're starting to think about, oh, I've got all this stuff to do. Oh, and that didn't get done yesterday. And oh no, I bet that they didn't do it. Oh, okay, I did it right. Okay, so you're having regrets and you're having resentments and you're having worries and anxiety. And again, every one of those thoughts is giving your power away. So 95% of them aren't feeling good. You're ending up at 5. And someone said, well, why not a 1? I said, well, you're not alive at 1. But when you're fiving, right, you're barely, like a car that's only 5% fuel efficient. You're just not running on all of your best gears. So what we do then is we simply make a choice and we say, I'm going to choose a thought that feels good. And we're going to teach you one really easily. G, it feels good. G, it's simple. G, it's easily available. G, it's gratitude. And so the homework we give, I say, I'm going to give you homework for the rest of your life, but only do it on the days that you want to feel good. Don't do it on the other days. And that is share 3 things you're grateful for from the past 24 hours with someone else. You can do it through an email, through a post-it note, through a text, through a phone call, or I used to do it with my son on the way to school when I was driving him to school. And to my knowledge, he's still doing 3 gratitudes a day in his mid-30s. So I'm very excited about that. So again, what we get to do, we always have access. Think about it. The room you're sitting in or standing in right now, you walked into that room with something you could worry or complain about or regret. Yes? Yes, of course, all of us, right? But you also walked into that room with something you could be grateful for. And that's the beautiful choice, the beautiful tweak that makes all the difference in the world. Because when we choose thoughts that feel good, we feel good. And when we feel good, good things happen. Think about it. When you feel good, you have more fun, more friends, more fulfillment, more financial, right? Don't you? Who's going to get the bonus? Who's going to get the raise? Who's going to get the job? The person who's choosing thoughts that feel good, right? That I'm very grateful that I attracted Cindy into my life and she attracted me because I love how positive and upbeat and fun she is. And that's a reflection of me, right? Because I was 95ing and this other 95er shows up in this choir and she starts talking to me and there we go. That's how that works. So again, choose thoughts that feel good because when you do, you feel good. And when you feel good, good things happen. So there you have it.
Yeah, and I had my share of difficulties too early on in life. I think we need to be clear that you don't need to have had an easy coasting life in order to do this. In fact, it's actually easier to do this if you've had a lot of difficulties because you feel the positive effects of it so readily.
It's dramatic. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
we have had people say, "Oh my gosh." Well, I just got a text the other day from someone who's going through our training, who said, "MK, do you sometimes wake up and look down at your feet to see if they're touching the floor?" Because I feel all of a sudden in my life like I'm walking on air. Now, this is a very successful businessman. This is not a recovering alcoholic, although I do know that he had a near-death experience. And sometimes that can be a wake-up call. But we don't have to wait for the towers to fall in New York on 9/11 to wake up, right? We don't have to wait for something bad to happen in order to make a decision that we're going to choose a life that feels better. And it might seem so ridiculous. I know the name of this podcast, right? Tiny Tweaks. This seems so small. Really? Choose a thought that feels good, like gratitude? Really? Is it that simple? It's that simple. And because Wicked came out this weekend, I want to quote one of my favorite quotes from that movie is when Glinda's standing there, she's just told Dorothy to click her little heels and she'll be home in no time. The Scarecrow says, "If it was that easy, why didn't you tell her a long time ago?" And Glinda says, "Oh, because she wouldn't have believed me." And I think that's true for everybody who hears this message. And that is, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to believe this, right? If you're still trying to say, no, I'm going to struggle my way to happiness and I'm going to work my way to health and I'm going, yeah, well, go for it, right? But we found that happiness and health, every single aspect of your life will change when you get to choosing thoughts that feel good. And pretty soon you'll catch yourself, or maybe somebody walks up to you and starts talking about something that really doesn't feel good. And you'll catch yourself saying, I think I'm going to change the subject. Yes, yes, yes. Or turn off that newscast because I don't need to hear that right now. Yeah. Anyway, so there we have it. And you probably have some stories too, like my principal story. Cindy, do you want to share one or two?
Sure. Yes, I have many, um, but I'll limit it to one for today.
Okay.
Um, I I know of someone who had just a very brief introduction to this, and actually, many people I know who have had only the brief introduction to Eight to Great have really um, cherished their time sharing gratitudes with others. And one person in particular rather, told me that she started sharing gratitudes with two of her three kids.
Mm.
Two of the three were interested, and it has become a regular ritual for them.
Oh,
She also said, too, Cindy, every once in a while I catch myself going down the rabbit hole of choosing thoughts that don't feel good, and I replace them with thoughts that feel good. And that's a new thing for me. This same person also recently purchased a gratitude tree for her grandchildren to use when they're over visiting. It has lots of little leaves on it, and you can write your gratitude on one of the leaves and hang it on the tree.
I love it.
And that's from an hour and a half, 1.5 hours of instruction on the power pyramid.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I just heard a siren. Um, the fire station isn't all that far from my home. And someone once said it's like when the fire truck goes by, you can go, "Oh, need to chase that fire truck, see where the fire is." right? When the fire has nothing to do with us.
Right.
That's sometimes what we do. We're going along just fine, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a negative story that I can follow, right? And think about it. Newspapers make their money on if the word kill or murder is in the headline, they sell 100 times as many newspapers. Well, that's true for the news or YouTube or whatever genre you're in, right? Is that we tend to go, ooh, there's drama here. And I say there's a whole bunch of drama to living your dreams too. There's a whole bunch of excitement to living your dreams. I remember when I first started speaking on 8 to Great, and I was so nervous back in those days. Um, I loved doing it, but I was so nervous. And so after every talk, I'd be driving home. Let's say I had an hour and a half drive home, and I'd think, oh, did I answer that person's question? Oh, I forgot to tell my best joke. And I beat myself up for half an hour of the hour talk. Well, the more I started to remind myself, choose thoughts that feel good. And when we feel good, good things happen. The quicker I started catching that. So I didn't go from half an hour to 1 minute. I went from like half an hour to 15 minutes. I'd be 15 minutes in and all of a sudden go, oh, you're doing it again. You get to think of something else, Mary Kay, right? Do your best, let go of the rest. I like to say now with my talks or my podcasts, right? Do your best, let go of the rest. And so I got it down to where it was about 2 minutes. And I'd go, okay, Mary Kay, you have 2 minutes to critique yourself and how you could have done better. Go. And I'd literally look at the clock and I go, okay, I could have done, yeah. Okay, next. Now, what went well? What are you really proud of? And it was just that, again, that switch, right? From pulling myself down to pulling myself up. It's amazing.
And
Some
too, MK, with the amount of time that people spend on social media, what comes up so readily is negative news. And it's so much more fun to watch funny things and animal videos.
Well, we're gonna have our first little tussle here. I'm gonna disagree with Cindy. We said we were gonna tackle subjects and tackle each other. Here's the deal. I don't think it does show up unless that's what you've been scrolling.
If you have spent a couple seconds even reading headlines, yes.
Really.
But
I mean, and I know you don't scroll, horrific things.
no,
I'm just saying, somebody said, oh, I got off Facebook because all the posts on my page were so negative. And I said, I don't remember the last time I had a negative post on my Facebook page. And I've been on for, poof, what, 10, 12 years? I don't know. It feels like a long time. Um, it's just not, because I'm going to post something positive. Feel free to check it out, guys. Facebook MK Mueller, and I'm just going to post not every day, but almost every day. I'm just going to post something that inspires me. But yeah, I'm exactly like you. When I want to scroll, what comes up are funny
uh,
dog videos. Oh my gosh, the things dogs do, and the human faces that they
yeah,
make.
yeah,
Did,
there are
did,
some fun ones.
did you take my blanket? Oh. He's so guilty. Oh, I don't have a dog, but that's the next best thing to having a dog is having dogs girl. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Facebook, like any other social media or YouTube, can take you this way or this way,
Oh,
right?
Facebook for sure. Yeah. But you can also find great videos that aren't on somebody's feed, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And Roxy Smith, who we're going to have on as a guest soon, has a TikTok. Love her TikTok channel. Roxy Roxie Smith, and she's an 8 to Great master trainer. And so if you want to just a little snippet of 8 to Great, just check out Roxy Smith on TikTok. She is awesome. Well, we're going to leave a link for a video about the power pyramid in these notes. And again, we really love hearing your comments and questions. So please, we're going to reply to, our goal is all of them. We think that we can probably get to all of them. And now we had talked about having a section every time where either I teach, called a tiny teaching tweak, either I teach Cindy something that she might not know, or Cindy teaches me something. Well, that actually happened a couple weeks ago. I love scrolling YouTube and learning about health. It's just my new passion is there's so much great information. And I'm not talking about the fads. Before I ever really look at something, I know the author, I've studied the author, I know their background, and I've also gotten other uh, podcasts or YouTubes that support what they're saying. So, this particular one was about how some exercises that help you sleep. And they weren't selling anything. It was just this, we just want to help you with some exercises or stretches that seniors can do to help them sleep. And it was really amazing. And before I even had time to practice them, Cindy and I were talking, and I said, "Hey, I learned these things." And she says, "Hey, would you send them to me?" So I sent her the link. And so I'm going to let Cindy share that with me because she's going to teach me because I haven't done them yet.
Wow, these are just incredible. I can't necessarily remember all the research behind it, but they are movements that Japanese people over age 60 do routinely before bedtime. And that's the part that impressed me, as well as the fact that they are generally very limber and wake up feeling refreshed. So I thought, hey, I'm going to try this. I often say when I wake up in the morning and try to walk, I look like my stiff grandmother used to look when she walked. I have the same movements. So anyway, my husband and I started doing these recently. He just got a Fitbit watch, which tracks his sleep and tells him the quality of his sleep, which was quite poor until he did this. He got an 83 the first time he did it, an 83, which the first time he got 90 minutes of deep sleep in. That was it. So, and of course, we'll send you the link to this. The five stretches or movements take about 12 to 15 minutes to
Yeah,
do.
that's what they said.
We reserve time as we're getting tired. We know it's time to do them, or sometimes we do them while we're watching television.
Yeah.
One of them is rotating your hip one way 10 times and then the other way 10 times. Same with the
Is
other.
that the one where you're on your back and your knees flip one way and then they flip the other?
That's another one. Yeah, where
Okay.
you flip both knees over, hold them for 90 seconds, flip, and I actually have a timer there that I use because I can get distracted.
Love
And
it.
then the other way, rotating your hips, rotating your ankles, doing the pretty well-known cat-cow move
Mhm.
from yoga
On all fours,
on
yeah.
all fours.
Like
Yeah.
just on the rug.
Dropping your belly, pulling your belly button in your exhale and bringing your back up. You do that for 2 minutes. And the grand finale is lying on the floor with your legs up straight against a door or a wall. And I hang out there for about 5 minutes doing that.
Wow.
And the benefit of that is that as the day goes on, gravity brings down whatever it is in your body that helps with mobility and free movement. And it distributes them to the rest of your body.
Oh, nice.
And amazingly, in the morning, you just wake up feeling really good. Good night's sleep.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think one of them is standing on your toes, isn't it?
That's not one of the five that I saw.
Okay. All right. That's a different video.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, one of the things I learned one day was standing on your toes, just holding onto the back of a chair, standing on your toes, then stop and back and forth, is helpful because it compresses your leg muscles. It gets the blood moving up, and guess what it helps? Your brain.
As
It
well as
helps
balance
yeah, I know.
and balance.
Helps
Yeah.
prevent brain fog and Alzheimer's and all those. Oh, yeah, we're learning so much about preventing and even reversing Alzheimer's, but that will definitely be another podcast. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and again, so the link will be down there in the notes. Hey guys, if you have enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe. We so appreciate it, and or comment. We love those comments, and we'd love to hear from you what you want us to talk about next time. So until next time, enjoy those tiny tweaks
and celebrate those BIG big wins.